37-year-old homemaker Michelle Kelly is suing her ex-boyfriend, 26-year-old construction worker Jason Watwood, for an unpaid loan and for an assault. Michelle claims Jason knocked out her tooth.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, this is case number 104 on the calendar in the matter of Kelly versus Watwood. Has it been sworn in? Judge, you may be seated.
Thanks,
Young
Brett.
man, have a seat. You're welcome, Judge.
Miss Kelly, the defendant was a former
back.
and he was not living with you at the time.
Yeah, in December, yes, ma'am, he was living.
He
with me.
was?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now, there came a time when you claimed he assaulted you. When was that?
That was in the end of December, 1st of January. Jason and I started talking about him not paying me back any of the money. And he had been drinking, and he became very violent and was very upset with me. And said that he had been giving me, you know, money for living in the house, which I'm not denying the fact that Jason would give me $100, $150 every paycheck, but it did not consist of anything concerning the amount of money that I loaned him for the truck.
Okay, so what happened?
Well, like I said, he was, you know, very upset with me. He had been drinking. He threw me down in the kitchen floor, and I have hardwood floors through my downstairs, and I hit my mouth, which my son is here as a witness of that. And once I broke away from that situation with Jason, I ran into the living room. That's when my son appeared in the living room. He also was on Jason, trying to help me get Jason off of me. And when I finally was away from him, of course, my mouth was bleeding, and I go to the restroom, and my tooth had been knocked out.
Can I see the bill from the dentist for that?
Yes, ma'am. I also have a letter from the dentist.
Did you file a police report?
No, ma'am, I did not. I'd had Jason arrested before for assault, and went to court and helped him get out of that like a fool, but I did.
When was that?
That was back in probably August.
And then you took him back into your house?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay, I'll hear you.
Your Honor, I didn't voluntarily move in with Michelle. She had asked me several times to move in with her. I stayed with her a good bit, but I didn't want to move in with her because I wasn't making a whole lot of money. I was working construction, making cash money. While I was at work, Miss Kelly went to where I was living, and she got my clothes and brought them to her house. That's how the moving in arrangement. She wanted me to move in. I said, look, you've got a payments that I can't support you with, which that's fine. I make plenty of money, so don't worry about that. So, no, I can't do that. Well, she went and got my clothes anyway.
So why don't you go get your clothes back?
Well, I thought if she wants me to move in this bad with her, you know, then I mean,
Jason, that is
why
a
not?
lie.
Don't speak to him. No, I'm just asking you. You're a big guy. You work construction. You work off the books. You get paid in cash. You sound
Well,
like a pretty smart guy. So if somebody takes your clothes and moves them into the house and you don't want to go, you say, gee, I like you very much. I'm going to move my clothes back.
Yes, ma'am. I agree. I should have done that.
Well, you didn't. So, and how long did you live there under duress?
From about April to about beginning of January.
So that's a long time that you were living there in slavery.
I'm not complaining.
You're not complaining. So you lived there.
Yes, ma'am.
And what? And how much money did you give her while you were living?
I would give her. I mean, my check was usually somewhere between $300 and $500. I'd give her all my money except for about $50. Well, the situation was, if I got paid by check, I could not give her the check to deposit in her bank account because she lives off of her dead husband, and she makes more than $7,000 or $9,000, I forget which one it is, a year, then she gets penalized on that money. So she'd want me to cash my check and just give her the money, and I would keep $40 or $50 for me spending money for that week, and she'd make sure that I had whatever I needed at home, which was fine.
Okay, good. So,
as far as the tooth.
no, don't go to the tooth yet. I'm still with the truck.
Okay. Now the truck. I took it to I had Lake City Auto come and get it. I would go down to pay it, and Michelle would not want me just to give them cash money, because if they said we didn't pay any money on it, if she just wrote a check, give her the cash, then we'd be able to trace it and show me, look, we paid with a check. We'd be able to trace it, which at the time seemed like the right thing to do.
So how much money were you giving her every month?
At a minimum, $200 per week, at a minimum of $800 per month.
And you considered the money that she wrote for the fixing of your truck money that you had, in fact, contributed to the household?
No, ma'am.
You gave her additional money.
I would give her all my money, just where she would have money. I mean, I was the one that would give the lunch money in the mornings. I would take the kids to school. She's been to court probably several times for the kids being tardy from school, from absences. And if I had to take them several times, she'd have been right back there again.
That is not true, Your Honor. Jason did give me $80 towards the loan.
When?
He did do that. In February.
Is that right?
Like the first week of February.
I gave her $80, but it wasn't for the loan. I was going to give her $100 to help her out. And she was griping because all I was giving her was $100, and she started mouthing off. And so I pulled a 20 off of the stack of 20s. I said, you're down to 80. And so she hushed, and I gave her the money. And then, of course, when she got the money, she said her piece again and left.
So you paid her $80 back?
No, just to help her out, not as a loan. I give her money throughout the time that we was dating, and more so than my part of the bills. I mean, she'd have $600 phone bills and would get mad at me.
All yours,
and I would sit there and I would line them
Pond.
up. I said, well, let's calculate these and see how much mine are. So 1 month mine come to $24. The next month mine come to $26. So why would I owe her more
He never
than that?
paid.
Tell me about this incident, sir, where she says that you threw her down on the floor.
She didn't like my hours at my new job. I'd get home about 9:30 or 10 at night. Well, she couldn't stay home. She had to go out. She had to go out drinking. Well, I get home, and the kids would be a little worried, like, well, is Mom coming home? Are you going to meet her? So, no, I'm just going to hang right here. And then asked me to call her, so I'd call her. Well, she need to come home. Well, I'll come home when I want to. You're at work all day. I'm, entitled to go out and have a good time. Well, she come home, and then the night that she had come home and that we'd actually got into, I was just trying to keep her from hitting me and kneeing me. And I would grab her, I hold her to keep her from doing that. The reason why she was so mad was because one phone bill that we had, she couldn't find one of the pages. It just mysteriously disappeared. Well, I called the phone company and asked them to send me a copy of the bills. Okay, I asked her again, where's this page from the phone bill? Well, I don't know. I showed her the copy. It was the page that was missing, which was a page full of calls to her ex-boyfriend. And, of course, that's when she went off. She was about half-tight, and it made her mad, so she went off.
What time did this happen, sir?
This was probably around midnight.
Around midnight.
Between 11 and 12, I would say.
Can I speak, Your Honor?
Just a second. With the children, shh. Is that when she came home?
She come home around, I'd say around 11. And,
She came home at around 11.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Step up next to your mom. I just have a couple of questions for you.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Michelle Kelly says ex-boyfriend Jason Watwood owes for an unpaid loan and for knocking out her tooth.
Tell me your name.
Corey.
Corey, do you remember when your mom and Mr. Watwood had an argument?
Yes, ma'am.
What time of the day was it?
It was about 1 o'clock
1 o'clock when?
in the morning.
Had you been sleeping?
Yes.
Do you remember what time you went to sleep?
About 9 o'clock because it was a school night.
Was your mom home when you went to sleep?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know whether your mom went out again that evening?
No, ma'am.
You don't know.
No, ma'am.
Was Mr. Watwood at home when you went to sleep?
No, ma'am.
What time did you get home that evening, sir?
About 9:30.
When you got home, was the plaintiff at home?
Jesse and Corey was at home.
I asked you if the plaintiff was at home when you
No.
got home at 9:30.
No, ma'am.
The children were sleeping?
No, they was still awake.
Do you remember your mom going out?
No, ma'am.
You don't remember, or she didn't go out?
Well, I really don't know if she went out, but when me and my sister go to bed, she doesn't really ever go out.
What happened to wake you up at 1 o'clock in the morning?
Well, I was sleeping, and I heard a big noise, and downstairs, and I went and told my sister, and she just fell back asleep because she didn't hear anything. And I went downstairs, and I saw him hitting my mom. Well, not hitting her, but he had her down on the ground and he wouldn't let her up.
In what room was that?
It was in the kitchen.
And what was your mom wearing?
She was wearing, I can't remember.
What was the defendant wearing?
He was wearing a white shirt and I think a pair of blue jean shorts.
And you don't remember what your mom was wearing?
No, ma'am.
Okay, sit down.
Your Honor,
What?
I'd just like to say that this is what Miss Kelly does for a living. She sues people for a living. And I've been at her home several times when she's prepped the kids as to what to say, what to do.
What kind of lawsuits, sir?
Corey got hit by a car a few years back, and the lawsuit went on and on and on. Instead of settling for, I think it was $70,000, she got greedy and wouldn't settle, so she ended up losing the lawsuit.
I didn't
And
even
she's
know
in
him
lawsuits
being
right
married.
now from her house, and she's suing four different people. And she's even told me that, you know, they've offered her $100,000 a piece, but she won't take it. She's
That's
going
not
for $1
true.
million a piece. That's what she does for a living.
I don't know if she does that for a living, sir. She has to do something else for a living. What
No.
kind of work do you do?
Actually, I'm a widow, and I'm a housekeeper. I take care of my children.
How much money do you get from Social Security?
$944.
A month.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any other source of income?
Yes, ma'am. I have my child support.
From?
My